Hey guys, it's 12:20 p.m. on October 13th, 2017, and I'm going to bring you some red flags from earlier this week that we need to start paying attention to because this fire is not even close to being contained yet. And let me give you the reasoning why we have to start paying very close attention to what is happening in California, because this is the Waldo Canyon fire from a couple of years ago. You guys, we did not pay attention to this. We did not. And the only thing that's distinguishing you from this being your house is whether or not we pay attention, because this can happen to any of us. This is not a forest fire. This was not a forest fire because look at, guys, the forest around here did not catch on fire. The homes caught on fire. This was Waldo Canyon. We ignored this. It's happening again in California, not just in one place in California, but in dozens of places in California. So here's what I want you guys to listen to. You can listen to some of the news reports from earlier this week, and I want you to hear the red flags that should be flying in your face now.
As this fire continues to burn, and the eeriest part about this is there is not a firefighter in sight. We have not heard a siren. We have not seen a fire truck, nothing. And that is exactly like what we've been talking about all morning. These firefighters are trying to save people's lives. And so now that they know that everyone has been evacuated from the Hilton Sonoma wine country, they know there's nothing they can do. It is just going to burn until they're able to get additional resources. And unfortunately for a lot of the businesses in this area, it means they could burn to the ground.
Okay, I want you to listen to this one more time.
Like what we've been talking about all morning, these firefighters are trying to save people's lives. And so now that they know that everyone has been evacuated from the Hilton Sonoma wine country, they know there's nothing they can do. It is just going to burn until they're able to get additional resources.
Okay, you guys, what you just heard here is messed up. I hope I don't have to explain this to you, but I'm going to just in case you missed it. Their objective was to save lives. Now that all those lives have been evacuated from the area, they're going to let it burn because they don't have resources. You guys, the state of California has resources to put out fires and to fight fires. There is a huge gap in what she just told you. Between evacuating the people and letting the fire burn, there's the role of the firefighter. So once the people have been evacuated, that's when they actually do their job description of fighting the fire. Now, you can say, oh, but Alyssa, the fires are too big, too many fires. Well, let's just take a peek at this map that we have here, courtesy of Google, which just happens to be zoomed in on this. These fires, guys, now this is current, it's in present, okay? These fires are not one. There are many, many little fires in all sorts of different places. If we zoom in here, we're going to see that we have a fire here, we have a fire here, we have a fire here, we have a fire here. You mean to tell me that these guys can't contain any of this? That these guys haven't been able to go out there because they don't have any resources to try to contain any of this? This is what it looks like now that it's been burning. What is it, though? Let's just consider this again. Look how many fires we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They say as many as 60 separate fires. And they're just going to let it burn. If it was one fire, I might understand where they would just have one fire. But these started in hundreds of different places. How is this possible? So where's the reasoning? Where is the actual reasoning behind letting it burn? We have a lot of problems here. Let's continue to listen to what else they have to say because this just gets worse.
Well, Alan, CAL FIRE, Sonoma County Sheriff's Department, and Santa Rosa Police just briefed the media on what's been going on, and one of the most incredible things they said is still now, 17 hours or more than 17 hours after this fire broke out, they are still at 0% containment. Santa Rosa Police calling this a horrific and terrifying event for everyone in Sonoma and Napa counties. Now, we have some video for you from earlier of what they're calling the epicenter of the fire today. This is the neighborhood in Fountain Grove neighborhood. You can see an active fire. This is what we saw all throughout the afternoon. Firefighters forced to just allow homes to burn, saying that they just did not have enough resources, whether it was manpower or water, to take on the flames. So this happened over and over again throughout the day. Now, they said at this press conference they are still not yet in research and recovery mode.
Okay, all the stuff that she just said there just sounds like disorganized vomit. If you use your head, first of all, there is no epicenter. I want you guys to see this. There has not been an epicenter. What's burning in Clear Lake is different than what's burning in Cloverdale, which is different than this part of Santa Rosa and this part of Santa Rosa and this part of Santa. You guys, we have an arson. This is an arson event. There have been these fires started at different locations. Okay, so that's one thing. Second thing is you don't go into search and recovery mode in the middle of the fire. But we're being told that these people are not fighting fires because they do not have the resources. You guys, you have to follow this logically. The progression of how you handle this is you evacuate the people. First you get the people out of the fire. Then you start fighting the fire. Then you go through search and recovery mode. Why is she saying that they're not in search and recovery mode? How the hell can they be in search and recovery mode when they haven't even begun the firefighting mode? Guys, this is a logical progression. What we are being told here is mental distortion. If you accept what you're seeing on the screen here from these people, you're being brainwashed. This isn't how it works. They don't go into search and recovery mode until after they start fighting the fire. But this whole order of things, how you save lives, then you fight the fire, then you do search and recovery mode. This whole order has been jumbled up. And under the veil of not having no resources, since when has a firefighter ever been forced to let a house burn? These guys are literally standing at the scene here with their hoses watching this burn. You guys, this should not make any sense to you. Let's listen to this one more time, what she's saying, because this is perversion. This is mental fornication. This is completely mind screwing.
Just briefed the media on what's been going on, and one of the most incredible things they said is still now, 17 hours or more than 17 hours after this fire broke out, they are still at 0% containment. Santa Rosa police calling this a horrific and terrifying event for everyone in Sonoma and Napa counties. Now, we have some video for you from earlier of what they're calling the epicenter of the fire today. This is the neighborhood in Fountain Grove neighborhood. You can see an active fire. This is what we saw all throughout the afternoon. Firefighters forced to just allow homes to burn, saying that they just did not have enough resources, whether it was manpower or water, to take on the flames. So this happened over and over again throughout the day. Now, they said at this...
So this was like the first day. I'm sorry I'm bringing this video to you so late, you guys. I didn't even know what to anticipate here. But that was the first day. Look at how big these fires have gotten. Look how much they've spread. And look how many fires there are. So there's a whole bunch of problems here. Not only are the excuses that they're giving you in the news complete nonsense. They are illogical. They are non sequitur. Your brain should hurt after hearing that report. Okay? And I'm going to play more because we're not done yet. Okay, the whole mantra that they have to save lives and then let the fire burn is it's so counterintuitive. My physical reaction is to scream and to curse and to swear because people are buying this. But I want you to look carefully, guys. Look at this. I want you to look carefully at the outline of where these fires are burning. This could not have happened because somebody threw a cigarette out the window. I'm sorry, guys. If you throw a cigarette out the window here in El Dorado National Forest, the Plumas National Forest isn't going to go up. And the Mendocino National Forest isn't going to start burning. And south of or east of Fresno, this isn't going to be burning. There's something completely diabolical happening here. Now let's listen to the rest of what they have to say because this is just mind-blowingly disgusting.
Press conference, they are still not yet in research and recovery mode. They're still...
Again, she said they're still not in search and recovery mode. They have it at 0% containment. How can you be in search and recovery mode before you even begin having it in containment? How can your firefighters be forced to let everything burn and then have any expectation whatsoever that you should be in search and recovery mode. There's no search and recovery mode. You don't do search and recovery mode until after the fire's put out. What, are we crazy?
Actively evacuating people from that Fountain Grove neighborhood. They said that they still want to go back in and dig through the rubble to see if there are any survivors, but they don't have the resources to do that just yet. That's also why they're telling people, if you can please avoid it, don't go home at this point. They don't want you out on the roads. They've also enacted a curfew that starts at 6:45 or sunset and goes through sunrise. They don't want people out on the roads. They want you to stay in evacuation centers or with family. They're asking for more cots at these evacuation centers, saying that a lot of them are at capacity. One of the people who spoke at this press conference just moments ago was Mayor Chris Corsi of Santa Rosa, saying he's just as frustrated as you are.
Doubt it.
I'm as frustrated as all of you at the scarcity of information that we have at this point. I want to know how many people have died, how many people have been injured, how many people are in shelters, how many people have been evacuated, how many structures have been lost. It's frustrating. On the other hand, for the last 17 or 18 hours, our personnel have been out there doing the job of saving lives, and that's got to come first.
The job of saving lives does come first. Nobody's going to disagree with that. But a firefighter's job of saving lives is to fight the fires. If they are at 0% containment, you guys, this was day one. If they were not containing that fire on day one, all it's going to do is jeopardize all the lives of the people as it spreads out. Now, unfortunately, another one of the mantras is the wind, and we're going to check into that in a second here.
We also heard at this press conference from Congressman Mike Thompson, who said he took a helicopter tour today and he is sending video personally to FEMA and the White House so people know just how bad things are here in Santa Rosa. We're live at the Santa Rosa Fairgrounds. Susie Steimel, KPIX5.
Okay. What we have to do now is go to hear about the second level of information that's coming to us. We are hearing about these wind speeds, supposed wind speeds, that are keeping these guys from fighting these fires, okay? Now, don't get me wrong. I absolutely, 100% know and believe the eyewitness reports because they are measurable on these wind speed indicators, on these personal weather data stations, and on the various metrics that we can use. There were wind speeds spiked. You can see these wind speeds in Santa Rosa did get up to 26, 30, some of them 40 miles an hour, depending on where they were, for a few hours. That happened at the start of these fires. Okay, we can see that. But then the wind speeds dropped down. Now, the fact that they're spiking up occasionally, at the most they're spiking up between 6 miles an hour to 21 miles an hour, and then they're dropping back down. So for the last 24 hours, the highest wind speed has been the gusts. The gusts of the wind speeds have only been to 10 miles an hour. Now, I'm not saying that's an easy speed to fight the fires in. But if you look at the news reports, they're saying at the mercy of the wind. This idea that the wind, they've even reported that the wind speeds were up to 80 miles an hour. You guys, that's a freaking hurricane. That's a hurricane. They're reporting hurricane strength winds. I'm not saying, you guys, listen. I'm not saying that 40 miles an hour and 20 miles an hour, and here we have 22, the highest peak we got here is 22.6 miles an hour. I'm not saying that those are not significant winds. I'm just saying that since the news is reporting that they can't put out any fires because the wind speeds are so high, I'm just saying that they haven't been that high. Okay, the beginning, yes, when they started this fire, when they unleashed these weapons or whatever they're using to get these fires going, because I'm sorry guys, you may not like to hear this, but you don't get 17, 22, 60 fires starting all across an entire state at once without doing something to ignite it, okay? So you may not want to hear what I have to say there, but you guys use your brains. These fires didn't start independently in different locations by accident. So what I'm telling you is, yes, we do see that in the locations where these fires started, we do see these crazy wind patterns that just picked up out of nowhere. It goes literally, look at this. Let's look at this carefully. At 8:56 p.m. on October 9th, the wind speed was 0 miles an hour. And within 3 hours, the wind speed picks up to 26 miles or 22.6 miles an hour. okay? But it drops down again. Now, this is the time when the firefighters should have been out there, okay? This is not the first 20. This is just within like 6 hours of this fire, okay? Within 6 hours of the fire, and the videos are consistent with this. Within 6 or 8 hours of this fire starting, they had a huge window of time here. They had a huge window of like 12 hours, where the highest spike after that for like, look at, see, here's the 24-hour period. 24, this is almost 2 days. They had no spikes. They could have been putting out the fire here, but you hear them say that they don't have the resources, that they're busy evacuating people. They're not busy evacuating these people. There are even reports that some parts of the county haven't been evacuated. You guys, there's something super wrong here. Super wrong here. And again, I'm telling you that the eyewitnesses' accounts of the winds picking up are very measurable. We can very much see that this happened. 85 miles an hour is just a complete fraud. You show me somewhere where there's been hurricane strength winds, but I'll show you where the wind speeds did pick up to 25, 20 miles an hour. Not 85. I mean, that's just ridiculously absurd. But the wind speeds did pick up, and this is out of the blue for no reason at all. But this is when the fire started, and all over these regions. I'm going to go through and I'm going to do a detailed analysis on this, but I just want to show you that for the most part, with the exception of like this, let's see, 5:52 p.m. to, so for a 3-hour period of, not even a 2-hour window of time here, the wind speeds did pick up on the morning or the evening of the 11th for 2 or 3 hours. But short of that, we've had wind speeds under 10 miles an hour. So short of a 2-hour or 3-hour window period of time here where the speeds just did really get over 10 miles an hour, we've been under 10 miles an hour for the last 3-4 days. So this idea that these guys can't get out there and fight the fires because of the wind is just bogus. You know, the wind did not carry these storms everywhere. The winds did not carry these storms everywhere. Now let's just zoom in here and take a peek, because I can't drive this point home hard enough, you guys. You really need to see what is happening here. You have individual fires all over the entire state. What's happening here in Grass Valley is different than what's happening here at Lake Wildwood, which is different than what's happening at Loma. Now maybe these two fires have spread to join one another. But you guys, this is not normal. This is not normal, and we missed it here. We missed it with this, let me just remind you here with this one picture of this Waldo Canyon. We missed this, okay? But there's nothing to say that this isn't going to happen to you. We can't ignore this. Now that it's happened again in California, we have to pay attention to this. These questions need to be answered, and we need to be looking at this with a critical eye. None of the stories we've gotten so far are good. They're not. I don't mean just good news. They're not even logical. They are non sequitur. Okay, we're being fed a bunch of bullshit. Oh gosh, I didn't mean to swear, you guys. I'm sorry, but it's true. We're being fed a bunch of baloney here, and what happens with Harvey Weinstein? Who cares, you guys? The casting couch has been around for as long as there have been casts to make casts. You know, they had them in Shakespeare's day. Give me a break. This is absolutely absurd. We need to demand some answers and look at this with critical eyes and thinking, because we aren't getting the whole story, and this is a very bad, ugly, brutally disgusting story that's unfolding, and there's nothing to keep you guys safe if we don't all start looking together at what is really happening here, because we're getting fed a bunch of lies.